Hey, so I wanted to create a video on Destiny Swappers that is not fear mongering because I feel like there's a lot out there that is. And so I just want to say Destiny Swappering, like energy, it really is like I follow specific patterns. And I just use the word Destiny Swapper here, but it is like more of a pattern of an energy that's pretty easily recognizable if you know what to look for. So if a Destiny Swapper targeted you, that means that they saw something divine in you and you have a very high purpose in this life. If you've ever faced this level of betrayal, you probably already know like that your destiny is really huge, but so is the protection around you. So if you are in the middle of one of these spiritual battles, because that's really what I consider this, I include prayers on what and different ways you can strengthen yourself spiritually and just heal also. So this energy can show up in a close friend, a business partner, a family member, or possibly even a romantic partner. It can show up in workplaces, it can show up in communities. Destiny swappers all follow very similar patterns. And so it's pretty easy to identify once you know what to look for. And this information also includes how to overcome, how to heal and step into your power again, and what blessings wait for you on the other side of this experience. So I hope it's helpful for you, and let's jump in. Okay, so let's talk about early patterns of this energy as it shows up in people. So this is really big copycat energy. So destiny swappers are big copycats because they have no real sense of self and they don't know the divine and they don't know who they really are. So if you pick up a new hobby or interest, they'll also pick up a new hobby or interest that's the same. If you're into a new religion or spirituality, they're getting into that too. If you're getting married, suddenly they're getting married, often to the exact type of person, but with more exaggerations. So they might start to change their looks because they care about like superficial things like that to kind of imitate yours. So they might become like, change their hair so it's the same color as you and things like that. But like I would look at things like if you get married, then they're suddenly getting married. If you marry someone in IT, they marry someone who's also in IT, but might be more advanced in their career. If you marry someone that's significantly older, there's an age difference or age gap, they marry someone who has an even bigger age gap to them. So they have these exaggerations to this hidden kind of below the surface competition that they see this as. So look for those things. They're extremely competitive, but it's all very covert. So it's like this rivalry for them in the relationship that you're not even aware of. It's extremely well hidden below the surface. Okay, so Destiny Swappers are also really good at flattery and they care a lot about image and presentation. They often will compliment you a lot, especially on social media, because they want their name and your name connected. But they're always monitoring what you're doing and they want people to see you two together. So they will tag you in photos on social media as much as possible and constantly compliment you. But inwardly, they have a lot of jealousy. Okay, so destiny swappers are really connected to energy vamping or energy vampire energy, and they can often show up in the same person. So the destiny swapper likes to create times where you're really close together. They will. One way you can tell that this is a destiny swapper slash energy vampire is they want to go on trips with you or they want to spend a lot of close contact with you. And during that time, you what you want to do is you want to look at the picture from the first day on your trip together versus the last day. And you'll be able to see the difference. In the first day, you look well rested and joyful and beautiful. And then, like on the last day, you look drained. You have big bags under your eyes. You look exhausted. And that's because that person is literally siphoning your energy. So do that. Go look at the pictures. That can really help tell what this person is doing in your energy. They also love to sleep next to you because that's when you're sleeping, you're very vulnerable and your energy is very open, especially if you're not like, doing certain prayers and things to protect your energy at night. You Other people can get into your energy basically at night, and so they like to actually sleep close to you so that they can siphon your energy most powerfully during that time. And some other warning signs, like when you spend longer periods of time together, is this person can be really insensitive about your feelings. So they have an utter disregard for your feelings or how something would make you feel. And they can also suddenly switch moods. So they might suddenly snap at you for no reason, or there's like an off balance thing with them too. They also might show signs of greed, like talking about money a lot. That's something that always marks a destiny swapper. They love money so much that they will go to great lengths to have it, and many of those ways are unethical. So anytime there's a lack of ethics with money, and you see, signs of greed there, that is something also to watch out for. Then destiny swappers are also really connected to heavy monitoring, also what's called monitoring spirits. So the destiny swapper is always watching you, shadowing all your life moves, and you'll notice they only do the surface level stuff. So they'll do like the looks, the outward things that they're willing to adjust. But when it comes to making big, big changes that require lots of hard work, time, and commitment, they never actually do those things. They want the career, but they don't want to put in all those hours into a new degree program to get into there. And or they'll they want to look spiritual or religious, but they never actually open a book or take time to study the text or pray or whatever is related to that religion. So they don't really want to work for something, they just want it to come easily to them, and it's very surface level. Okay, so they're big gossipers, and gossip is their favorite spell work. If you don't know, our words are spells, and so they love to talk, they love to gossip, they love a long phone conversation, mostly talking about what is going on with them. They love a group chat, they're always very active in group chats, and they're usually highly sociable people. So the Destiny Swapper loves to gossip, they love to tell your secrets. You'll get warning signs when you find out that they've shared someone else's really personal secrets and made them look embarrassed, right? Because people only share things that are really embarrassing for someone else, when I personally think that they actually kind of delight in that, so because most people, they're aware of, like, oh well, that might not be something that somebody wants me to share. So just be aware that they like to share other people's secrets too. They might do that, and they like to gossip. They also heavily project what they are onto you. So they might say that, and this is in the early stages, they might start telling people that you're jealous of them when they're the ones jealous of you. They might say, oh, you have bad intentions towards me, when they have bad intentions towards you. They might say you're greedy when it's them that are pocket watching you and seeing how much you make and that sort of thing. And like I said, there's this below the surface competition too. So this is how they begin to weave a web of lies with their slander around you, because they're also tricksters. And this is really like a seed planting phase that leads up to full-blown smear campaigns. If they're spiritual or religious, they will work on getting a group to spiritually kind of view you negatively, right? Like you're doing something bad to them, maybe. And they'll often really early on enlist the help and support of others by, doing these things. Okay, so then the next stage, it usually involves smear campaigns and triangulation to purposefully remove your support system or those around you. So the Destiny Swapper will cloak their energy and let someone else close to them take the fall for them. This is very common for Destiny Swappers to have a Ponzi. So you're thinking the whole time that someone else is at fault for this drama and chaos, when it's really them. So, but listen, they can only keep up this facade for so long, but they're very good at cloaking their energy and intentions behind someone else they let take the fall for them. So be aware of that. And at some point, you realize I can't keep continuing this relationship. It's stealing your energy, it's toxic for you, so you have to cut them off. And then, at some point, you realize, that you really need to cut off all mutual connections as well. So they no longer have any access to you. And it's better for you that you just do this cut off, just make a clean sweep of all mutual ties, if you can do this, right? I know it's really complicated and you can't, but as much as you can to do that early on, because it buys you more time to uncover the truth and to just pray and to regain your strength, okay? Because this person has been siphoning your energy also. So Destiny Swappers are master manipulators. They use a lot of mind magic, and they're very calculated. And it's best that you don't fight fire with fire. You want to exit and do a complete cutoff, and that's essential at this point, okay? And unfortunately, this is when it gets a bit darker because the Destiny Swapper can't monitor, they can't copy, they can't manifest off or siphon your good energy and gifts and even health in some cases when they can't get near you or get near to you through others. Okay, let's talk about the next stage. So then the smear campaigns, false judgments, and lies really start to spread to those closest to you, so that many people judge you falsely. And then there's kind of like this shunning phase that begins. So everyone who is really not meant to be in your life kind of joins in on this. Why? Because I believe, that some part of them wants to believe the worst about you. That was already in their hearts because they were already jealous or greedy or insecure about who you are and how you show up in the world. So the Destiny Swapper can then also promise these people gifts or money or support and rewards and all sorts of things to keep these people in strong allegiance to them. And when these lies start spreading, the Destiny Swapper and her inner circle, usually there's like an inner circle and an outer circle with them. They'll sit back and kind of watch and see, to see how you fail and what effects their slander and their lies have had on you, as well as the shunning, right? So they feel very powerful during this time, like they've won. It's at this stage, it's very important that you remain silent. I know everything in you wants to really tell them about themselves, warn others, but it's in the silence that God can move powerfully, because your silence and your prayers say to God that you trust Him more than your own ability to right these wrongs. And believe me, He's going to move on your behalf. So no matter how painful and how heartbroken you are, including if this is family, it's really necessary for your next chapter in life. And just like remember that God knows everything they were planning. There's no surprises to Him. And this is a hard truth face, but when you lose those mutual connections during this time, even if it's family, how I see it is, well, like I said, their hearts were jealous. So, let's see what else I want to say about that. Okay, let's move on to the next phase. So the next phase typically involves some sort of humiliation ritual. So when the Destiny Swapper realizes they haven't ruined your life, they then move on to a love interest of yours or a former love interest of yours, just to feel like they're one-upping you. And this can happen months or even years after you finish speaking or engaging with this person. And it's so weird, but in their mind, if they can have your romantic partner, they think they've won. And let me tell you, if any ex-partner or partner does this, that person was also a secret hater, right? Because this is a form of humiliation. It's a humiliation ritual. It gives both people a sense of power, right? So they're incredibly envious and jealous of you. And really, like this is this opportunity for two people that are already secretly hate you to just link up, right? So they also will tend to speak out against your love life, try to block love with spell work. Of course, none of this always works in the end, but what they do is definitely remove people that never should have been in your life to begin with. These people aren't aligned with you, is how I see it. Okay. So this next stage usually involves theft of some kind. This could be around money or an asset of some kind. If it's a business partner, they'll often try to take the business. You didn't see it coming, right? Or it could be a property or an inheritance if it's related to family. Because like I said, these people are very greedy and usually there's some kind of financial gain in it for them. So if this is a family member, they'll do things like getting you written out of a parent's will or promise their followers money if they go along with their humiliation ritual. But inside, the envy's growing and growing each day it's growing more. And they're so convinced that, they're going to win in this situation, but really they're delusional. Okay, so let's go to the next phase. So they'll recruit others. If this person is spiritual, they'll typically join a coven or a cult or some kind of group if they're not already in one. And they'll also get them to hate you and want to steal your energy or even, in some cases, your life from you. They might promise this group something in exchange, all because they think that you're not protected. They don't know, who they're messing with, though. So these people will go along with it for a time, but suddenly their lives start to take a downward spiral as they realize that you are much more protected than they thought. They can begin to lose their finances, lose jobs. Things get taken away from them one by one with all the people that have collaborated with them. Okay. And the Destiny Swapper can be using black magic on you. You would be surprised how many people are actually doing this kind of stuff in secret, that they have secret altars, that they're involved in this kind of stuff. So, and just remember too that even if they're not, this person spent a lot of time in your energy, reading you, studying you like a book, becoming like you. And they're often very spiritually in tune people. They can often sense when you're about to ascend or be blessed in your life in a big way. They can sense certain times and seasons. If it's blood, unfortunately, in your life, they can be aware of those things, and they can purposely try to block them and siphon your blessings away from you to go to them. And what else? So yeah, they can move on to incantations, black magic, anything that makes them feel more powerful over you, and that's really what they want to feel, is more powerful than you, right? Um, they don't realize they've just opened the doors to things they don't understand and are really not equipped to fight, unfortunately. They also tend to use binding magic and not magic. This is a form of folk magic to seal their fate and connect you two together. And this also doesn't work because God sends out your angels and destroys it. And, because the Bible also says that the anointing breaks every yoke of bondage. So you are anointed, your children are anointed, and none of these rituals work on you. Okay. Then their own spiritual gifts get revoked. So they have to often travel to see practitioners to get spell work done on you. They will, hire people. They will go to great lengths to do this at times, depending on, if they are spiritual and how deep the destiny swap goes, right? So they will hire warlocks. They will hire witch doctors. They will pay them money to actually completely unalive you, sacrifice your destiny. These people can practice voodoo, hoodoo, all sorts of black magic as well. But of course, this doesn't work on you. God doesn't let it. God knows that he always knows people's plans. He sees everything. And so, whatever plans they have, it just doesn't work. Okay, and so what can you do to regain your strength during this time, become more empowered, heal also, because your heart needs healing during this time? Well, there are a lot of prayers that you can pray that will help you move from, a sense of victimhood to empowerment. And what those are that I've used is prayers of blessing. So this one is so powerful. What I do is I bless those who curse me, and I pray for those who want to spitefully use me. So I will just keep praying for them. Okay. I will keep blessing them. No matter what they do, I keep blessing them, because I really believe that any kind of vengeance or um, any of that really belongs to God. And so, so I just really give it over to God, trust Him to, to right these wrongs, right? And then remember, when you forgive them too, so I do prayers of forgiveness. When you forgive them, it doesn't mean that God forgives them. So they aren't off the hook, but this clears your heart and your energy from these betrayals over time. It protects your heart from becoming bitter and hardened. And I never understood this, but when I asked a pastor, I actually asked two pastors to go out to lunch with me once, and I asked them, doesn't it mean that they're off the hook if I forgive them? Doesn't it mean that God's forgiven them also? And he laughed and he was like, no, you're not that powerful. And so really, your forgiveness is just setting you free, right? So I also do these forgiveness practices. But in addition to this, you can use surrender practices in that place of prayer, meditation. And what that looks like could be, God, or whatever, however you connect with God, source, the divine. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't I don't understand why you allowed this to happen, but I trust your perfect will and plan for my life, and I surrender to you, and I have faith that you will work all things for my ultimate good, and that everything really will be okay. And then I also do gratitude practices. They're also so important, because you can just say, thank you, God. Thank you that, I woke up this morning, that you've preserved and protected my life. Thank you that, I have what I do have. Thank you for my health, the people in my life that I care about and love, that care about and love me. Thank you for your favor and your blessings on my life. I trust you. I love you so much. So those are the kind of prayers that I say. And so it's also really important during this time to do prayers around the truth being revealed. So this person can't continue to deceive others or can't steal from others. And it's important for everyone involved to face the truth and to know that the truth will be exposed. Okay. So, you are in the perfect position to reveal the truth at this point because you're safe and you're far away from these people. Okay, so that's what I recommend you do. And it's really important that these people don't go on and betray other people or hurt other people as they are prone to do. So that's why it's important to pray for the truth to come out and for this person to be unmasked, and the other people collaborating as well, and for them to be, and for God to stop them, in His perfect timing and perfect will. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and the other type of prayer, I'm going to make a video about this, but it's about spiritual warfare prayer. So I'm going to make a whole separate video about that, but it's how to break off, things like hexes, black magic, how to fight these things. It is a spiritual battle. It's not physical, right? It's not something that, but there's also things you can do to stay safe, and keep yourself safe, and those that you care about safe. And let's see. Also pray before you sleep, because destiny swappers like to astral project. They like to do things like implant false dreams, to maybe make you have sympathy for them or for other people you're collaborating with. So you just want the truth, right? And so just pray for protection over your sleep, that nothing would be able to touch you during the night, and no false dreams, that your dreams belong to the divine. And just keep praying for clarity, because as you come out of this, there's often like a fog of confusion. You've been under heavy, I don't know the right word for it, but under spell work, really, and energy siphoning. So, there's a period of regaining your strength, getting clarity, coming out of the fog, understanding what really happened, who did what, and that's all good. That's all part of this healing process, right? And regaining your strength. Okay. So, and I hope that you see this time as, not a loss, but God aligning you to your highest good and your highest path. And really, the justice is so much bigger than you in this. So, really, the way I see it is, sometimes people come along and they are karma for this person, where this person overplayed their hands with you, and they didn't know how close you are with God, and how protected you are. And so, yeah, there's consequences for them. Absolutely, there is. Okay, so there's other things you can do to take your power back, including, and that's during this time of isolation, when they're doing the humiliation rituals and all of that. Excuse me. Um, so there might also be a period of time of quiet where you just go through some ups and downs in this, and you might be really confused about your future, and you might, you might be in pain in terms of like your heart. And there's certain tests that you go through at this point, but really, you will pass them. Just keep praying, keep, seeking healing. You can also take a lot of time to rest, as much time as to rest as you can. But it's during this time that, Holy Spirit will speak to you and give you guidance. That might be to read a certain book or start a new project behind the scenes, learn how to manage your money better, just ways to improve yourself, right? And to heal. And also, yeah, so I read spiritual literature too. I also added that to this list. So, whatever brings you peace and comfort and truth. For me, I love to read the Bible, especially Psalms and Isaiah. But yeah, just getting, the truth about who you are, and what happened deeper into, your mind. And so whatever helps you do that, but also just, staying in that place of hope and peace is so important, staying in a high vibration. But you can read Psalms over you and your home and your family, or, those that you care about. I love Psalm 43, Psalm 91, Psalm 109, Psalm 94. Those are great. But there's so many you can use during this time. And the Bible says, my sheep hear my voice and I know them. And that word know is like an experiential knowing. So know that whatever time you spend to heal or connect with Holy Spirit, to connect with God as you see God, that time is never wasted, because it's an experiential knowing. So, and knowing that who you are, knowing your identity, that also really protects you. And doing identity work where, you understand who you are, and what you're meant to do, that's so important. I'm really, I also want to just say that no human can imitate you, because God knows who you are. You are one of one, there's no one else like you. So no one can really pretend to be you. It's just really not possible. And certainly no one can replace you to source or the divine. That's really is impossible. Um, okay. So, also during this time, I love to spend time in nature. I love to do things like listen to music and sing and dance. Being just out in nature also is so healing. And, just whatever you can to find that your sense of peace too. Um, Okay, so then I also recommend spending time in solitude. There, there is definitely a period of time where you want to be in solitude, and then there's a time you need to come out of solitude. Okay, but there is a period of time where, spending some time in solitude, in prayer, in meditation, healing, reflecting. You need to spend this time to process and heal from the betrayal, because a destiny swapper is always someone that you really loved and cared for, typically, and you just never saw it coming, right? Of because of so many reasons. But somebody that you cared about, you wanted to help them, and they were in your energy for a long period of time. So cutting those cords, healing your heart, going through all of that takes time. And getting that place of healing where you can acknowledge that there's still good people out there and you will meet them. And not everybody is like this, right? So there's also rewards going through this kind of stuff. And it's hard to see it though when you're going through the thick of it. um, okay, so you also need to yeah, okay, I went over that. Okay, so next. So after this plan fails, this is what begins to happen. This person's two-facedness begins to show in stages, that they're really a trickster. When you're in this place of prayer, of silence, not speaking out verbally, but praying to God, growing in your faith and your relationship with Him, trusting the divine to reveal all truth in His perfect timing, then this allows enough time for the truth about this person to be revealed. And in time, people will see that this person was underhanded, that they're a trickster, as someone who is two-faced, that they shouldn't have trusted. That's for more of the outer circle. But the inner circle, they're kind of the same character, I would say. And then what happens is this person becomes fully unmasked, right? The truth about them is revealed. What they've been doing in the dark, in secret, throwing rocks, hiding their hands, the manipulations, all of that does come out. And this is good. This is a good thing. We want this to happen. And everyone who's been involved in this really starts to see who they're dealing with, what's going on, and they can't really run from that. Okay. And I added to this section too that I think we're really coming into a time where this is going to happen less and less, because the younger generations, they really can see through people more easily. I think they're just more naturally intuitive and tapped in. And so I think they're going to see real people from fake people more. Collectively, that's really where we're headed. So I feel like almost like the Destiny Swapper energy, I don't know if it's going to be as common in younger generations. So like Gen Alpha thinking for sure. So, yeah, what else? Mhm. Okay. So, and then we move into the period of time where the Destiny Swapper is, really going downhill. So their lives, become chaotic and difficult. The people that plotted with them, that supported them, usually back off. They realize that it's not worth it. Okay. And they all go through a judgment season together. All the people that collaborated. It's not just them. So, the truth is that during this time, God doesn't want you near any of these people, because when people are getting judgments, there is like, you can be affected by that as well. Okay. Just by being their friend, by being someone that collaborates with them. So, I would just say pray for these people and for the Destiny Swapper too, because all these people typically have pretty severe, trauma, possible personality disorders, could be antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and a lot of this is untreated. They really need therapy and they need healing. Okay. So just pray for that. They get that healing, and stay far, far away from them. Do not ever let these people back in your life, especially those that, well, I really mean those that collaborated with this person. And especially this person, God never wants these people back in your life. He loves you too much to have your life exposed to these kind of people. Okay. It's too risky. All right. So, all these painful experiences really cause a rebirth for you ultimately. And like one day you just kind of wake up and realize you're not the same person that you were. You're even better. And the thing is, all the Destiny Swapper did was push you into a closer connection with Source and to knowing yourself, knowing what needs to be healed in your heart, doing the work on yourself. And, it really does make you that much stronger. So, know that in the future, you won't ever face a betrayal of this magnitude, not ever again. You're going to recognize the signs, and you will protect yourself accordingly. And the truth is, I know I talked about this, but no one can replace you. No one thinks like you, acts like you, talks like you completely, right? No one has the same gifts as you. So and it's really after this that you step into your star power, and we're going to talk about that. But you're so much more healed after an experience like this when you do the work on yourself. Okay. So let's talk about all the rewards that come through going through this experience, like an attempted destiny swap. So your just rewards is typically spiritual elevation or higher spiritual ranking. I never want to permit or encourage not permit. I never want to encourage spiritual narcissism, but people do go get ranked up more highly after experiences like this. It's usually kind of like a video game, right? Like you're trying to reach a master level. You defeated everything sent against you. You've humbled yourself. You prayed. You forgave. You didn't grow bitter. You healed. You worked on the stuff that you needed to on yourself, and you didn't crash out on these people or confront them. You let God handle it. There's huge spiritual rewards for this, and no one can take that away from you. Okay. I believe that we are rewarded first in the spiritual realm and then in the natural. As it is above, so below, right? So that is what is happening, and then it's also often at this stage that you'll start to get the phone calls, right, from people that collaborated with the Destiny Swapper. They realize that hey, they haven't ruined your life. They haven't in some cases unalived you. In the worst cases, they haven't, done something disastrous to your life, right, over the long term. And so a lot of times people will call, they will try to come back. It's really important that you discern if these apologies are sincere. You do need to know the level of collaboration that they were involved in. And to be honest, in this case, for me, I will never let someone back in my life that has collaborated with the Destiny Swapper and all the people involved. I will never let that person back into my life. I love myself too much to do that. So, but these people realize that, wow, you're really protected because unfortunately, like they're going through it too. They're going through judgment as well. They're receiving consequences. And so these people can also start to feel guilty, embarrassed, shame even. And that's okay. That's good for them. Let them sit in that. Okay. You can forgive someone without having a conversation with them. You can, let it all go and move on with your life. Right. Okay. So I wanted to say that. Okay, and then another blessing is that you step into purpose, right? So you step into purpose, you have a greater sense of destiny with your passion, your hobbies, and your work. You know yourself so much better, and you're so much more confident just being you and not catering to others and not people pleasing and not trying to heal all the people around you. This is a good lesson in boundaries. And typically, where you see this is, people who don't have strong boundaries. So, you have learned boundaries. You are not that same person, and you're not a people pleaser. You're not going to be a people pleaser. So that, and that's not always the case that it happens this way, but it can. Okay, if you have a platform or something that you're really passionate about it begins to take off. That's part of your justice. So you'll gain followers, and you feel like your life has a greater sense of purpose. You just won't feel like the same person anymore because you're not. You're better than you used to be, and you're fully embodying the truth of who you are just more authentically. People can really see that on you because you learn to love yourself, and it doesn't matter what anyone says about you as long as you know you're innocent, you know who you are, and that God knows you and God knows your heart too, right? Okay. And then you step into a season of greater wealth. You start making more money doing what you love and what you're good at. And depending on the severity of the spiritual attacks, you'll actually get a lot more wealth over the long run in your life than you ever imagined possible. So know that that's coming if you're kind of like in the middle of the healing process, and all of that, right? Yeah, this is just part of your justice. So that's how I see it. Okay, in some cases, you can find someone, you can find a real love. You can find a partner that loves you. I remember I knew this woman who, she had a business partner who suddenly almost turned on her, tried to steal the business. She went through so many losses at that point. She went through a divorce, but then she also went through this extreme glow up where she, lost a bunch of weight, met her person, and she's in like this great relationship, and she has only good friends around her now. And so those are the kind of stories that I really believe in. And yeah, so, and I'll tell my story someday too. Okay, so and in the future, you're able to pick up, like I said, on the signs and the patterns of this energy. So you're able to discern for yourself when someone is a real friend or what their motives are, when they're coming towards you. And just because you've gone through this, it doesn't mean that you won't ever come across this energy again, because you definitely will. When you have a higher purpose, you will absolutely go through having people come near you or wanting to be near your light and your and all that you have to offer for the wrong reasons, right? So you need to use discernment always, but there's a lot of good people out there. And I believe that after an experience like this, they do come in your life. Okay, and good friends can come into your life, people that you trust and feel safe with, that aren't out to envy you or compete with you. Okay, and then after all these experiences, there's just so much joy ahead, and you get so much more clarity on what happened to you. You realize that this all happened for you, right? It was all part of the divine's plan for your life, and so you really get onto the highest trajectory or path for your life after this. And I think God can bless you so much more that you forget all your former sorrows and betrayals and heartbreak, and that you really. Step into a place where you feel blessed, and a lot of that is going through difficult things sometimes. So but you're strong, and really what would have destroyed you or could have destroyed you didn't, and you're so much stronger for it. And I think it does make you a better person. So wherever you are on this journey, this isn't the end of your story. God's not done with you, not even close. So I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to drop a comment and a like so more people can have this pop up on their algorithm. And I just thank you so much for your support and sending you guys lots and lots of love. Bye.